So, so our SIG today, the first thing is that I wanted to say I'm so excited because this is our eighth meeting for this SIG of my inaugural year of hosting a special interest group on organizational coaching. And it's the final one for this year, and we'll resume again next year. I see a frowny face, but we're gonna have a good time this time, and then we'll resume again after the new year. And so was thinking a lot about this space today and what would be most in service of the group that's been coming, the feedback we've gotten, as well as things that have lit up people when we've had various speakers. And I really wanted to take some time to really reflect on our journey today, journey of the last year, reflect on your coaching practice, given an opportunity. This is a time when a lot of us are doing planning for 2026. The second part is thinking about, I don't know about you, but this year's been really turbulent in lots of different ways, says Captain Obvious over here. And so as I was preparing for today, I was going back to why did I even start my practice a few years ago? Why am I here? And so we're going to get ourselves back connected to that. And then we're going to reimagine. We're going to imagine what our practice will look like for next year, particularly around coaching in organizations. Sound good? Everyone with me? Thumbs up? All right. All right. So, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go into breakouts. And so Michaela's going to help us get into groups of about three. And there's a prompt. And the prompt is, what pressure or challenge this year has shaped you the most? And how has it revealed something new about your strength, your clarity, and your direction? And so it can be in your practice. I know some of us, we've had our practices for a number of years, and maybe we're seeing things that are shifting. For others, this is our first year of transitioning. Or maybe it's just not even work related, but I want to give you an opportunity to kind of break out. Let's see, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's good. Groups of three would be great. So everybody will have about 3 minutes each to share. And so maybe somebody could just be a timer to make sure everyone gets an opportunity. And then we'll come back together. Sound good? All right. We can open the breakout groups. Welcome back. All right. So, what were some insights? Anyone want to come off mute and share from their breakouts? Something you heard? Yeah. Hi, Barry.
I mean, you can't hear it through the ether. I said I'm on a different device today, and it's kind of a different view. It was interesting for me. It wasn't. I don't remember the exact question, but it wasn't like what's been challenging. It's really what's been working well.
Mm,
My coaching got way better this year, and first of all, I have more clients. It helps a lot, not because of the money, but it's like you get good. I realized that I was just saying this in the last part of our piece in the breakout. I realized I got really brave in something that just was opposite of what I thought. I actually do a little bit more just-in-time training. Let's say I'm starting with today I was doing the gremlin with a client, and that is something like they don't even know what it is. So I usually do a little, but I did a little more. So it was kind of like a little just-in-time training and then kind of blend and lead into coaching. And it's just, I'm finding it works really well.
mm,
Um, I don't know. I guess I used to kind of think, oh, I guess got to sit back here and ask powerful questions. But
mm,
maybe I'm not sure I'm in their face, but I'm more direct than I used to be.
mm.
So that's been cool.
Really nice. So being more direct. Who else would love to share in the larger group?
I would just like to comment on what Barry just said, because I think our clients are getting more sophisticated
Mm,
and they are becoming more aware of what coaching is, and they want more from us. And that goes along with, when Barry said, I'm in your face, I'm more in their face, just in time training. I think those are really important aspects of the whole package you can bring to the table. Um,
mm,
because I have found, even when I am on the other side and I do have a coach, um, I almost get put off when a coach questions me to death, makes me work too hard in the session when I don't really want to. I
Mhm.
want them to share their experiences as well as me having the floor. So I really appreciate what Barry had to say there.
Wonderful, Carol. Thank you. Let's hear from someone else. So what was revealed to you this year? Something that came up. Yeah. Yes, please.
Several of us in our group talked about how we find our way forward in the sort of macro uncertainty, and just that playing a role and within an organization there's uncertainty. I myself have started my business recently, and it was the theme for a few others, and AI, right? And just sort of like, how do you strategize and aim when you just aren't sure what you're aiming for always? So that was something that we shared. It was nice to hear, even though intellectually, you're not alone. It was just nice to feel not alone on that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I think uncertainty is the word I've been hearing.
Mhm,
I mean, we're all probably hearing it, but I'm hearing it more and more in
mhm,
the in the organizational spaces that I go in and out of, you
mhm.
know. And so yeah. So we're gonna for today, let me just double check the chat, see if anything's in there. Okay, good. So we're for today, you are going to need 3 pieces of paper. And I should have mentioned that initially, but if you have 3 pieces of paper next to you, and if you have a colored pen, pencil, and maybe one other color, or just one is fine, it doesn't matter. But we're going to be really, really like old school with pen and paper today. I love how that's become old school too. As I feel like when I'm talking to my nephews and I'm telling that I'm using pen and paper, they're like, what? As they're like speaking into their phone and recording things. And I'm like, that's why I can do penmanship. So everyone got pen and paper? And I'm going to, can it be a notebook? Yeah, absolutely. You just need some paper. Totally fine. So I am going to do this. So can everyone see that on my screen? Okay. So can everyone draw these 4 symbols? I am not Bob Ross. So don't prepare, don't feel like you're going to get some great artwork here, but this is my like
Are we
this here.
supposed to
So,
draw it on one piece of paper?
on one piece of paper. Yeah. I thought it'd be really, really helpful today as just kind of when we do our reflection and we're really thinking about looking forward next year and back as it relates to our work and organizations, we're going to do an exercise where we're really literally going to have pen and paper in hand. So, um, and you're not going to have to show everybody your artwork unless you want to. And I'm going to be super vulnerable that showing that I can't quite draw very well here. So we're going to start up here in the cloud over here. And this entire page is really going to be about reimagining and imagining what you want for 2026. That's what this is here. We're going to first start with our why. So up in this corner here, if you can see that there, that I need a darker color actually. I just realized I grabbed the wrong one. This is our why. In your cloud here, write your why. Why did you start your business? Why are you doing the work you're doing? Maybe the reason you started is different than now where you're at, but just write whether it's words, or whether it's a phrase. Take a moment to put it in your cloud there. All right. So everyone got that one? Yeah? Okay. over here, this is a lightning bolt. So this one over here is, how do you want to feel running your business? What's going to energize you? This is your energy. So in 2026, what's the energy you're wanting to have? If you can see, mine might be writing too small, but here you can, for me, it's like I want to have fun in 2026. This year, I tried to have fun and it didn't feel as much fun as I want. And I want to have a relaxed 2026. I don't, this year felt very not relaxed. So for me, that's the kind of energy I want to bring into the next year. So anyone want to come off mute and share the energy they want for next year? Or you can drop it in the chat.
I want to have I want to have positive reinforcement for what I'm doing, and I want to enjoy my work.
Enjoy. What else? Lindsay, what about you?
I was just thinking, I don't know if I did this right, but a bunch of words came to my mind, and it's like, I want to feel aligned, empowered, authentic, and at peace.
Yeah, beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah. Kim showing all the love there. Who else? Let's hear someone else. What are some other ways you want to feel?
I want to feel bold and
Mm.
assertive, and not just about kind of my needs and desires, but also about my services and
Yeah.
teachings.
Yeah. Makes me think about something else I want. It's just like owning my voice. I know it sounds so ridiculous to me when I say it and I coach so many people around it, but really owning my voice in my business, you know? All right. All right, let's go back to our, let's go back down here to this. Okay. All right, so we have our why and our energy. Now over here, we're going to put in, what's our revenue goal? And you may not know that yet, or maybe you do, but just check in with and write a number, right? So maybe you want to earn 100K next year in your business. And this is overall in your business. Maybe you want to earn 1 million. Whatever, maybe you want to move 10 million. Put a number there. There's something wild about how a lot of times we're like, oh, I just want to grow my business, but we don't think about the number where we want to go. What's our North Star? So, all right. And when you have that, then in the box over here on this one, you're going to put the percentage of your revenue that you want from organizational clients, because that's really where we focus in this SIG. So for me, I might say I want to have 60% of my revenue come from organizations. Now you might be like, well, what does that mean? It can mean however you are of service to organizations, individual, group, coaching, team coaching, all the different things, but that's it. So you might have a business model where you work with organizations and also individuals outside that. So for me, I'm putting today as an example, 60%. All right. Okay. Did everyone get that down? All right. So I'm going to invite you to look at those numbers. And do they feel good to you? Do they feel super safe? Do they feel like the right numbers?
Question is that, can you bring that back up for a sec?
Absolutely.
I
Barry,
love
I'm
it.
hearing you say that you love my artwork, Barry.
Yes.
Just kidding.
So the revenue, the 100K, oh, there we go. That's what I missed, is
Yeah.
what percentage was from organization. Okay, I see.
Yeah. Yeah. Because really what we're going to be doing is we're really going to be focusing in on, okay, what is the plan to get to that for this next year. And I'm really walking you through, and I should have said this in the beginning, the process that I go through in my own business to think about when I'm doing forecasting or reverse engineering. Like, what is it that I want? And then I'm going to show you how I reverse engineer into that.
So
Any other
Jenny,
Thanks.
questions?
again,
Yeah.
what is the 10% is I can't read that word.
Sorry. Okay. Can you see it now? So you set your goal. So I might say
Right.
in my total business this next year, and I'm just using numbers for us that are gonna math easily, to be honest. That so in 2026, I want to make 100K from
Okay.
my coaching practice.
Okay.
Okay. And and I'm saying that 60% of that 100, I want to come from organizational clients because I might have it, and it might be different for others. So for me, I might say, you know what, my coaching practice is made up of lots of different kinds of clients, but I want 60% of them to come from organizations, 60% of my revenue from there. Other questions?
Just to clarify, from organizations, can you just define that a little bit more?
Yeah, absolutely. I sure can. Let me switch my cameras again for us. So that means like if you have an organizational contract. So if I work with, Fabulous Company is paying me, I might be doing some executive coaching. I might be doing a roundtable. I might be doing a training. I might be doing a series of different things. To me, Fabulous Company is part of that 60%, which is different than like, Sarah Smith might come to me. Like I coach coaches. So she's building a coaching practice and she comes to me. That's an individual for me because it's an individual coming to me to help them coach. So this is from those contracts that from organizations. I'd also love to hear anybody else's definition if you have a different definition. It's great to bring it into the room as well.
Well, I think one of the pieces that I'm looking at as I just wrote this is, okay, if that's, I put 30 or 33%, I said, where's the other? So I started looking at it and I said, oh, okay, I have this other business line. And then I have a new thing that I want to start. So I kind of divided that
Yeah,
way to
great.
see where it was. Because otherwise I go, okay, well, that's fine, but where's the rest?
Yeah, yeah. And we're going to actually get into some of that too. But we wanted to, but here's the thing. A lot of times when we start thinking of and we're doing our planning, we oftentimes go, we skip over the number part of it, right? For all the reasons. And we know that even from coaching our own clients, that a lot of times money is not the thing that we kind of avoid that conversation. Yeah, Jamie.
Yeah, so I just wanted to bring up a different line of inquiry here in the sense that I know there's at least one of us, and myself, I've come out of being essentially an internal coach, where there are people who are in organizations and like that is their job to be the internal
Mm-hmm.
coach. So like that might be 100% unless they are going to have a separate line of business that they want to do both their sort of their day job and then their separate line of business and all that. And so I mean I just wanted to raise that as something that I don't think we talk about very much. At least I've only been part of SIGs for the past like 4 months or so because I just
Mm-hmm.
joined the chapter, but like I've been to almost every SIG the chapter has offered in the past like 4 months. And I don't think anybody ever really talks about internal coaches and sort of how you like what goals would you set for that, even if it wouldn't be like a revenue goal. Like there might be
Yeah.
different goals. So just wanted to throw
Yeah.
that out there.
Such a great question. And I have some thoughts about it, but I also know there's one person on our SIG here who probably thinks about this a lot. And not to put them on the spot, but Gigi, did you want to say anything? And you can push back and say no, Jen.
No, no, that is good. I actually thought about that. I didn't want to bring it up because it could be just
Please.
only me that's
Yeah.
an internal coach, but this is what I look at it, how I'm looking at it. Even as an internal coach, that's right now, that's not all what I do. I've been trained this year, a lot of training to be certified as a trainer and a facilitator.
Mm.
So, Jamie, like what I'm thinking for me, because we do a lot more individual coaching, but I'd like to get more org as in team coaching and group coaching. So kind of like that is what I want to, so I put in like almost like maybe 30% of my time I'd like to be able to do provide team coaching and or group coaching to our organization. So great question, Jamie.
Beautiful. And thank you, Jamie, for raising that. And Gigi, they would be my guesses as someone who has never been an internal coach. I was thinking, what would be the metric, right? If it's not a dollar metric, but what is the line of inquiry for the organization? So that's beautiful. Thank you for bringing that in. So,
And
yeah,
oh, Jen, can I just add that
of
that
course.
was I was going towards metric as well because I'm working towards my PCC, and so and for my goal also is the 500 hours, right? So I'm balancing that with the revenue,
Yeah,
and so that's I think it's like, okay, well, what is your goal and what are the metrics that you're using
yeah.
to help yourself get there, right? But if we're focusing specifically on the org percentage of that, that's fine. But I just like, to Jamie's point, some of
Mhm.
us have other things we're kind of keeping track of in the back of our
Yeah,
minds,
absolutely.
or are just in the imbalance with that revenue goal.
Yeah, yeah. Raise your hand if you're tracking other things and have other like KPIs in your business, right? Yeah, I think we all do. And one of the things that I was thinking a lot about this, like where's the entry point and what can we do in 90 minutes together? So I thought, let's start with the revenue, knowing full well that this process that we're going through, which is the reverse engineering into the goals, can be almost used for everything. So I use this same process to your point, the same. Like I'm working towards my MCC, so I track my hours. That actually informs the kind of work I'm doing, right? Because I'm trying to really build up my, get the hours. So I might in 1 year have more go, you know what? I'm having more one-on-one clients than I am with group coaching because that's part of this larger goal. So I really appreciate these different metrics that are coming in, these different things. So we can actually even use the same formulas that we're going to be walking through around revenue to apply them in the other areas in different kinds of ways. Sound good? All right. So does everyone have a revenue goal and a percentage goal? Because that's the one we're really going to be working from. Unless you're internal coach and you have something different that is like what would be in place of a revenue and then a percentage. So it might be not to single you out, Gigi, but it might be like, okay, I want to have, 20% of the organization in group coaching programs or, or something like that. So but the numbers, the spirit behind this is being able to have goals and numbers, they can be our friends, right? And one thing, and that being able to kind of have a North Star helps us be able to get clear about the pieces of the puzzle leading up to it. So, all right. So everyone take that piece of paper, it's here, and just put it aside and get a new piece of paper out. All right. You ready to see my fancy drawings? Actually, there's no drawings on this one. I don't want to set you up to be disappointed. So, okay, here we go. So this time, can everyone see this? Probably I need to make it a little bit bigger in the future. There we go. So now what we're going to do is so we have our 2026 like kind of goals and our what we're working towards. And now we're going to take a moment to look at 2025. And again, I've done this off revenue again, but if you want to use something different, that's okay. So here's the first thing. We're in November, so we probably have a good sense of the revenue from this year. And for all of us, it's going to be different. Some of us I know on the call have just started their practices. Others of us have been doing it for a while. And I want you to write here what your revenue will be this year, right? And so I'm going to write 50K. Let's say that's mine. So this year I've got to use nice easy numbers because so I can math it out later. So I might say, okay, in FY 2025, I'm probably going to close at 50K or it's a million or whatever that is. Okay. So everyone got that? Thumbs up, thumbs down. All right. And if you're like, I don't even know my number, you could just use an estimation. Totally fine. Totally fine. Okay. Now, under opportunities, and this is where it comes in, many of us have different things we're doing in our practices. So what are those different things? For me, I do one-on-one coaching. All right. I do workshops. So let's write them all down. I do workshops and trainings. I coach in organizations or contracts. And I have a subcontract. So if you have a subcontract for a company, it's kind of consulting that I have that as a different consulting on behalf of them. I do coaching for them. So write down all your different ways that you got this, how you got the revenue. So I'd love to hear what like people's different streams that they have, if there's anything outside of this. So one-on-one coaching, workshops, contracts from organizations, consulting or subcontracts. Are there other ways, other parts of your business? I know some people do strategic planning. Some have assessments that they do. You want to just write those different ways that where your revenue comes from.
I just want to add that I that I do work sometimes and it's not coaching or coaching related. So I have a business called Zoom Geniuses where we produce programs for different people in different things. Originally, it was out of coaching facilitation, but I had a niche that started that I didn't even plan. It started in the COVID. I'm still doing some, and that is I do some Zoom programs for people that passed away and their memorials or celebration of life, and they love it. And then we do all this stuff, and they record it, and then they have it. It hasn't been as much, but that's a different thing that just kind of showed up. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Barry. And so if there's anything you have that's part of what you do, it just goes over there on that side. All right. Is everyone still with me? Thumbs up, thumbs down. All right. Okay. So let's go back here. Now, what you're going to do on your list is when you look at your opportunities, again, this is a lot about auditing and reading our reality of our current business. Where does the percentage break down across your business? So I'll give you an example. I might say 20% of my clients come from one-on-one individual coaching. I coach entrepreneurs, I coach coaches, they'll come from there. Doing workshops and trainings, 30% of my work might come from that. I go on site, they hire me, I'll do a management training, I'll do something. My organizational contracts, okay, that might be 40% of my work. They're the ones that are from like Fabulous Company, and I might be doing a variety of different things with them. Now this is where you're going to see Ken Jen do math. Okay, and then 10% are from subcontractors. I get hired to deliver work on someone else's behalf, right? It might be a fellow coach who needs to bring in another coach. That goes under here for me. So I'm really reading, I'm like auditing what 2025 looked like. I'm auditing like, okay, this is how I got my 50K in revenue. It kind of broke down like this. Everyone still with me? I also really need to at this point admit to everybody that I failed math in high school. So when I am looking at numbers now, it feels very different to how I like grew up thinking about my knowledge around math. But what I've also learned is that when I can audit my business and read its reality, the data starts building stories of ways to build strategy. So, okay, ready to do the next one? Okay,
I just want to say when you brought that sheet up, bring it up again, right before you talked about the math, I looked at this and I thought, oh man, I feel freaking overwhelmed. It was like, what the heck did I do this year?
Yeah.
It was like a real reality check.
Yeah. And when I did it, because I'm literally walking you through the process I've walked through like year over year. And exactly, Barry, this is what starts to emerge. Whoa, I had like, at one point, my lines were like 8 different things. And I was like, that might be just a little too much. So, all right, now on the other side over here we go. We're going to put down everything that we have done that has connected to creating clients. So this isn't like what we would like to do, right? So I love that you brought up your QuickBooks. I speak QuickBooks as well. It's the best, right? That I might say, I really want to host like a conference for coaches, but this last year, that's not what gave me revenue, right? And so here we want to say, how did I make this 50K? So for me, I got it from referrals, right? I hope I spelled referrals right. Another one is I went to a lot of networking opportunities. Another one that was that I actually joined like a paid networking group, right? That was new for me. And then from speaking engagements, right? So let's go ahead and write the different things. All right. Okay. How's everyone doing? So what are the different ways? And and I'm seeing in the chat here some people at the earlier stages in their business. Even I think the data is super helpful too, because the thing is that whether I closed one client this year or 100 clients this year, there was still something that got you there and it's worthy of paying attention, right? So what are the different ways your client said yes to you? What were the different, how did you, what built that, the yeses? For me, no matter what, referrals are still my number one way.
Yeah, referrals and networking that led to referrals.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. What else? What are other things that people do?
Didn't realize till I wrote it down, but I had at least two people convert from, and it was fair and legal, or from a corporate coaching thing into a direct coaching thing. It's as long I can do it as long as the rules work with that people, that thing. So that was interesting.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought about it till I wrote it down.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah. Taya, did I say your name right?
Yeah, Taya.
Taya, that's right.
Yeah, you
Please.
said it probably more accurately, but I just say Taya. Yeah. Yeah. This is a little bit like a referral, but I had a client post about how much they enjoyed working with me on LinkedIn, just like randomly. I didn't know they were going to do this, and they were just like so thrilled in one session that they just like declared how great this was. They're an amazing client. And someone they knew saw that and reached out to me and said, I want to work with you. And so
Beautiful.
like it wasn't a referral per se, and it wasn't me posting on social media. So I don't know what we call that, but
It's a referral to me. What about other people? How do you see that?
referable, right? Like I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Someone had a beautiful experience. Yeah.
But also just social media, right? Just like not to underestimate, like, putting the truth of the value of you out there is a in a genuine, authentic way
Mm-hmm.
yeah, which for me is hard, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I kind of
Beautiful.
have a similar question.
Yeah.
Uh, I would say 80% of the revenue from this year has been because I have an extensive network in the nonprofit world. There's
Mm-hmm.
organizations calling me and saying, by the way, I heard through the grapevine, you're doing this. I don't even post anything on LinkedIn or Facebook, nothing on social media, and I don't even solicit, it's just
Mm-hmm.
people asking me, what are you doing? And I say, oh, I'm doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been, yeah. So I just landed a big contract with a philanthropic organization. And it was just like, hey, we heard through the grapevine that you're doing this. And are you interested
Mm-hmm.
in leading this 6-month leadership development training? And we're on. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what will that be? Will that still be a referral, or will that be the universe, just kind of working in mysterious ways?
I'd say it's a bit of both. It's that magical spot. I mean,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
would say in my business, I have similar things from the old, we know, it for many of us to close new clients, especially organization clients, it can take 3 to 6 months. But from the industry that I come from, it takes me anytime from 2 to 4 months, right? Because I already have that know, like, and trust,
Yeah.
right? I was an
Yeah.
expert in the field. And you're right, Roland, you made a really great point that so I fall that under networking. It's a network that I
Man,
tend
oh,
to,
that's a great point.
right? Because it's a
Mm,
network there where, I speak at that network, that kind of thing. So,
yeah,
uh,
that's a
all right.
great.
So we have different things. We have referrals, we have networking, we have speaking opportunities, right? For me, those are my three, right? And at another time, you may want to go deeper behind, okay, how much of my revenue came from there? What type of clients come from there? Because this all begins to help you form the question, how am I going to get to my big audacious goal for next year? So, really quickly, I wanted to ask, what did anything surprise you when you just did this? Did something, anything that when you kind of put the numbers here stand out and say, huh, was there an invisible win that showed up? Or was there something that you're like, oh, I didn't realize that, but now I realize it? Or I had an inkling, but now when I look at the number, yeah, that's what it is.
At the risk of being the person who talks too much, just to say that it's not exactly that, but one of the things that I've done recently is join some pro bono
Mm,
groups, and I don't know how that's going to translate, but just to say that's when I put it in there, it's part of the hours thing, but not revenue, but maybe it will lead to more referrals and things. So I wasn't quite sure where to put that, so I just gave it its own category.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And there's no risk of talking too much in this group, by the way. All right. All
And
right.
I will say in true
Yeah.
fashion for me, I couldn't really focus on like what was. I'm just seeing all the holes of like there's so
Oh,
much opportunity in these two. Like when you said assessments, when you said like I want to build a standalone course and it's like things on my mind that I'm like, there's so much opportunity. But then looking at the client creation, I was just looking at my list of clients. I'm like, two came from the same source that I'm not really tapping into as well. So what can I do next year to
yeah.
uncover a little bit more there?
Yeah, totally, Lindsay. And it's so easy. Like I am like if I was to confess the amount of dollars on like new shiny toys that are out there that I just know the dollars that are there, I probably could, I don't know what I could buy, probably buy a new car, a fancy one, right? But like that's part of the discipline is going, okay, as I'm building something new, what's already working? Because the truth is sometimes we're doing both, right? Yeah. All right. I want to give us an opportunity to go into another breakout. And this time the question, and this is where you kind of are going to take the first two, my vision for next year, right? There, as well as what worked. And Michaela already went ahead and answered. I dropped oops, I accidentally raised my hand. That's not supposed to be up. And the prompt is, where do you see the diamonds starting to emerge in your business? This could be something you're refining, simplifying, launching, or strengthening that truly feels you. That truly feels you. And so this is where you get to imagine a little bit. You're going to have, again, let's go into groups of three. I think this time we'll probably have we probably need to do 2 minutes each. Like no, I'm sorry, 10 minutes for each group total. Sorry. Yeah, if we could do that breakout, but really focus in on this prompt, right? Where do you see the diamonds starting to emerge? Because when we come back, we're gonna look at how we can reverse engineer into those. So, all right, we can open up the groups. Right. All right. So let's drop in the chat some of the diamonds that started to emerge. What are some things that came? I know we have everyone else coming back in, but we can drop them in the chat. Or you can come off your and share it other than drop it in. But what are some of the diamonds that emerge? I'd love to hear from a couple people. So you can come off mute and share, or you can drop in the chat. Either way, totally fine. We'll take a couple before we jump into our final part. Partnering with others. All right. Yeah, that's a beautiful one. that's what's so great about being part of ICFLA. Do you know how many partners I've gotten to like work with through? It's so amazing. People are so generous. Yeah. Lindsay, I saw you come off mute.
Oh, I was just going to say one thing that came out of our group discussion was just focusing on our value and speaking to our value and going into networking or outreach with that not trying to sell but just kind of connecting and sharing our value with others.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Lindsay,
they might benefit.
can I offer a little reframing on that too?
Please.
That thinking about what is the value that my work is bringing, right?
Yeah.
Right? What's the value that my work is bringing, right? Because my value is priceless, right? So, but the value of this work, I find it's even saying that helps me price in just a better way too.
Mm-mm.
So, what's the value of this? When I can help a team go from like not speaking to each other to actually being able to have a hard conversation. Yeah. What's the dollar with that? Yeah, Barry.
I was in the same group, and I think from my perspective, with these beautiful eyes, I actually think we talked about, at least what I saw was maybe two things of value. One is what is the value we bring to them,
Mhm.
I think the ROI and all, but the other one is like, what are each of our values and how do we show up through
Yeah.
our values that allows the value to show up, the client to show up,
Yeah.
the magic to show up, the whatever.
Yeah. Barry, that's deep. That's deep. It feels like we could have a whole entire group conversation about that,
Let's do
right?
that. Let's do
I
that.
will note that for one of the 8 for next year, right? That let's
Yeah.
do that maybe,
Yeah,
right?
that'd be
All
fun.
right. Just in the interest of time, we're gonna get an opportunity to use our third piece of paper. Everyone got their third piece of paper? I know you're really excited. You get to see my handwriting again. I know. Stop being so excited. I can see it. Here we go. All right, there we go. Oh, is it there? Okay. So this time we're really going to go back to we're going to copy over a couple things. The first is, what was our revenue goal that you set um in the beginning? What was that revenue goal? For me, it was 100K. Okay. So for 20, this is FY 26, right? My original goal I set right at the beginning of our time together was 100K. If you've adjusted it, that's fine. If you're not using dollars and you're doing something else, also okay, right? What's the energy? What are the key words around energy? For me, it's fun. It's relax, LAX. It is, and some excitement, which seems like they may not go together, but they do in my world. And what percentage of my 100K did I say I want to come from organizations? Because again, we're looking at org coaching here. And for me, it was 50%. So I'm just transferring what I did before. Everyone got that? Okay. Now we're going to go to the second side of the paper. And at the top here, we're going to say if we set our revenue goal was 100K and I want 50% of that to come from organizations, this is why I did. Barry, you have your hand up. Did you want to ask something?
Nope, not sure how it got up.
Okay, just want to double check. Everyone still with me? All right. So what is that 50% of 100K for me translates to 50K? This is why it is. All right. So put up here the actual dollar amount. Everyone still with me? So if you said 1 million and 50% of that from orgs, then this is $500,000 up here. Trying to manifest that, everyone, for all of us. All right. Then now here's a little bit of like, you may have some guesstimation, or it could be however you want to do it. But what is the average contract size? So for me, because I know my numbers, I might say my average organizational contract I might say is about 20K each, right? So on average, when I have an organizational contract, what I know from looking at my numbers from the last year, as well as thinking about, okay, who am I in conversation with? My goal is to have about 20K from each average from each contract. Everyone got that? Okay. So then we do a little bit of math. And even though I failed math in high school, like I told everybody, this is very simple math. And I'm going to show you it. And can you guys see it closer? There we go. You're going to take your total revenue, which I have is 50K, right? And then I'm going to divide it by the average contract size, which is 20K. And this is going to tell me that probably I need to have 3 organizational clients to get that. Everyone got that? Does anyone need help with the math on that? All right. So the reason I'm sharing this in this kind of way is because I know for me, when I was thinking about stepping into working with organizations, I was in my first year. I had this, it felt very overwhelming. I was like, I need to close like 20 organizations, 50 organizations to hit my goals. But when I started to really reverse engineer into going, okay, what is it? What is my goal? Where and what are the size of contracts? And what will it take? I started to land like I did right now. Actually, I just need three organizations, not 20 organizations. What does that do for others? Like when you start doing this, what does that show? What showed up for you when you did that math?
It's like a relief valve, honestly. It's so helpful to be concrete about this. Like, thank you for doing this exercise. I didn't even think about doing this, and it's super helpful.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for saying, yeah. So let's all just take a breath, right? Especially for those of us who are getting ready for 2026 to be our big year. We close our first few organizational clients, or maybe it's like our second year, or maybe it's our 10th year. When we start being able to look at the numbers, just as Jamie says, we get to ground in like reality. So then the question doesn't come as I'm thinking about my 2026. Do I need to, okay, what do I need to do? What I need to do is I need to think about who are the 2 to 3 corporate organizational clients that I am going to work with. Now, we also know in general, it takes 3 to 6 to sometimes, for those of us who work with nonprofits, sometimes even longer to close a corporate client because there's so many different layers to it depending on your processes. So I may not be closing my 2 to 3, in my case, my 3 clients until Q2 or Q3. So what do I need to be doing in Q1 to be planting the seeds to getting there? So that's kind of our question. So take a look at your goal. So everyone should have a number of clients at this point that's going to get them to their goal. And if it's not the dollars, it's working towards what's your number of clients? And this can work on any of the metrics. And then the prompt is, what do I need to do to plant seeds starting in Q1, which is like 6 weeks away, right? To work towards those goals. And for some of us, it might be, you know what, I'm at the point where I can just do an ask. For others of it's others. So what are some of those small things? And I'd love to, and this is the part that's so beautiful. If you have some ideas, come off mute and share them because there might be someone sitting in our virtual room going, I'm not even sure. So what are some of the things to hit your goals? See you, Donna. We'll see you soon. All right, I'll warm you up with one for me. So if I have the goal of 3 clients right here, my first step is I'm actually going to block out some time to go back and look at my trackers and look at like who have I had conversations with this last year? What happened with those conversations? Oh, is that someone I can follow up with and have a virtual coffee with before the end of the year or at the start of the new year? That's one very concrete thing that I know I can walk away because I'm sure that those 3 clients are already in my ecosystem.
So you might also look at the people who can feed those 3 clients to you.
Yeah.
Not just the direct relationship, but it's the financial planner who might know people inside corporate America.
You got it.
The,
Yeah. So who is it that you know that can build connections? So I'll give you something really concrete. I know that Roland works in nonprofit. I'm very connected to multiple different nonprofit sectors. So I might think like, you know what? He might be someone that there's somebody I couldn't work with, but I could connect him with, right? So I might be a good connect. I might be on his list. Roland, put me on your list as someone. So what are the different things? And Carol, I love what you just said. Like, who in my world? One of the greatest things is you guys know you can like export all your contacts from LinkedIn. I love doing that. I export them once a year and I take a look. Who are my contacts? What are their roles? Oh my God, there's just some people that I forgot that I was connected to who said to me 5 years ago, anything I can do, Jen, to help you, let me know. Oh my gosh, I'm going to go back and talk with them. They're now at different organizations. So that's another great strategy. Go back through your network. What else? How else are we going to get to like, would anyone want to share their goal of clients? I have 3 down. Anyone got any more? A number? 3. All right. So Carol has 1 strategy already. 2, right? Doesn't so what are some other ones? Go back through our networks. We have the go, mine, which is I'm going to go back and look who I've had conversations with.
I think for me, it's also added value, like what tapping into organizations I already work with and what can we do together that we haven't yet.
Beautiful. Lindsay, thank you. I feel like I was willing you to say that because I have the bounty of knowing some of the amazing things that Lindsay does. And I was thinking, who have I already gone back and worked with, right? Our best clients are the ones we've worked with before, right? And so, and of course, you're continuing to nurture those relationships over time. I'm sure everybody has a process where they do that. And so go back to those people you've worked with before. They're your raving fans. You're already in their system. So it cuts down the close time because you're already in their procurement system. Yeah. Yeah. This is great. This is great.
I have one.
Yeah.
I have one. Mine is a plug. I'm going to utilize the services of ICFLA and ICF in general and all the resources that are available because they are super helpful. I learned so much. I've become more involved this year, and I've just learned so much in the last few months since I've been attending things. So
Good. Oh, so great. So great. Yeah.
Can I ask you, Darlene, what are some examples of resources?
Um, so some of the meet like I attended uh um the what are those C3s?
Mm-hmm. In
And
person?
there were such great speakers. And so in one of them, I learned about speaking engagements and what you might do and how to get involved as a speaker. And then another one um, was HR people and
Mm,
listening to HR people and having them share what they look for. So
mm,
Thank you.
that is, those are some things that were really helped a lot. And so
mm,
along with so many other areas, but those were 2
mm.
that were really amazing.
Great.
The coaching cafes. That's how I know and love Jen so much.
Oh, yeah, coaching cafes. Anyone in the LA area want to have fun on a Friday and make your way out to the Valley? Yeah, we are cool at our cafe. Yeah, coaching cafes. Let me give you a couple other examples that I've used. These are things I've done in my business to close corporate organizational clients, right? So we've already got reached out to past clients. Another is that I attend events where decision makers are and I present at them. So that's a really big one that I do. And I get in front of decision makers, right? Oftentimes they're associations that are more than happy to have you come speak at their events. And the room is usually filled with decision makers, and if not they're decision makers, they will be future decision makers at companies. So that's one that I do frequently, to be able to do that. Can I give an example? Yes, I'll give you a perfect example. Women in real estate. Well, actually, I'll give you a concrete one. I spoke at a conference for women in the chemical fields in September. I did a presentation and I did some coaching there. I think from that I got 80 people sign up to get connected with me, either to learn about my programs, to learn about coaching, to learn about to just be on my email list, and then know, like, and trust there. So that's an example. Did that help, Kathleen? So that's a great one when we were thinking about go to your networks. What associations are people part of that you can speak at? So, all right. Any other ideas that people wrote? And here's my last one. And even though that kind of underlines all of them, practice talking about what you do and how you are of service. Practice it with everyone. Um, my husband doesn't want me to keep practicing with him. He has made that very clear to me, but you know, I'm like, I keep trying. But really, in all seriousness, practice talking about it. You will become clearer, and people will be able to go, actually, I know someone. When you start hearing people say, hey, Jen, when I start hearing people say, hey, Jen, I know an organization that really needs what you're talking about. No one else is talking about it the way you're talking about it. That's when I know I've been practicing more and more about, and I get become clearer and clearer how I can powerfully serve. So, all right. We're
Can
heading
I,
towards, yeah, please,
can I,
please.
yeah. So one of the one of the things that came up in our group is that, you know, 95% of adults, or maybe 94% of adults in Los Angeles County are attached to an organization. And so if we begin to do an inventory of everyone that we know, kind of like the concentric circles, right? First degree of connection, second degree of connection, we're talking about hundreds and hundreds of organizations. And, based on our offerings, we can begin, having that
Mhm.
conversation
Yep.
with those individuals that are closest to us. And then,
Mhm.
of course, go further into the concentric circle. So, but just having that awareness creates this plentifulness of,
Absolutely.
of organizations that, and every organization has issues. I mean, I don't care how effective they are, how efficient they are, you know,
Yeah.
um, but so I think I think it was helpful for our group to,
Mhm.
just have that awareness that was kind of like hidden in plain sight.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. I want to invite you with my final prompt and to drop it in the chat here. The answer to the completion of this sentence. In 2026, I'll create a business that I will create a business that feels, and then complete the sentence. You can come off and say it if you want to instead of drop in the chat. That's okay. So for me, I would say in 2026, I'm going to create a business. The next evolution or the creation of my business, it'll be one that feels exciting, feels aligned, feels fun, and I'm able to relax into it. That's me. Being of service. Yeah, I love it. Satisfying. Yeah. Enjoyable, Kim. I love it. Yeah. That's making a difference. Yeah. Having impact. Bold and impactful. Lindsay, I'm loving this bold word. Now I've heard you say it a few times. Yeah. Connection, meaning. Yeah, it's beautiful. All right. Dynamic partnerships. What? All right. Well, thank you, everyone. We've got just a few minutes left. Go to resource for our internal staff and make a difference. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right. So as we head to the end of our time today, I want to start with saying how grateful I am for this SIG and for many of you have been with me multiple sessions throughout this year. Thank you for making this year awesome. My heart always feels so full afterwards, spending this time together. Uh, I'll send out an email on Monday with a recap from our session today. Want to make sure a couple of things. If you have any questions about any of the systems and processes I talked about, feel free to reach out to me. I know Michaela's going to drop my contact information in there in the chat here. That if you're just like, Jen, how did you math to that math and all that kind of stuff? I have all kinds of stuff. I come from doing operations in my background, so I'm like very over indexed on this kind of stuff here. But what I know to build a really strong business, particularly getting into organizations, we need to be able to be really grounded in our data and strategy. And thank you everyone for showing up and contributing. And I cannot wait to see you next year when we're back together. And with that, we're complete today. Thank you. And thanks, Michaela, for stepping in.
Thanks so much.